All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about a huge idea for anyone, for any leader, really, who's trying to make decisions in a world that just will not stand still. It's this concept called reading the grain. And honestly, it's about a fundamental shift in how you see what's happening, not yesterday, but right now. So let's start with the core problem, because this quote just nails it. We spend so much time analyzing what just happened, right? We do these post-mortems, we try to figure out what it all meant, but by the time we have our neat and tidy answers, the moment is long gone. Our understanding becomes, well, forensic. It's great for an autopsy of the past, but it's totally useless for navigating what's coming at you right this second. And that brings us to the big question, the one we're really digging into here. If looking backward always leaves us a step behind, then how in the world do you operate in the now? How do you actually make sense of a situation while you're still in the middle of it, while it's all unfolding around you? I mean, think about it. Most of us, we were taught this very simple loop, right? You act, you see what happens, you reflect on it, and then you apply those lessons the next time. And look, in a really stable, predictable world, that totally works. But today, in the world we're actually living in, that cycle is just, it's way, way too slow.
So if you're out there and you constantly feel like you're playing catch-up, I want you to hear this. It's not you. Seriously. It's not because you're not smart enough or not working hard enough. The problem is with the tools we've been given. The problem is structural. It's like, imagine trying to navigate a crazy whitewater river, but your map only gets updated once a day. It's useless. The system itself is broken.
Okay, so what's the alternative then? This is where this whole idea of reading the grain comes into play. And it's really important to get this. It's not about just trying to run through that old reflection loop faster and faster. No, it's about a complete, fundamental shift in how you perceive the situation from the get-go.
And this right here, this is the whole ballgame. The goal isn't to think faster, it's to perceive differently. It's all about developing this ability to see the dynamics of what's happening in real time, not just analyzing the data it spits out after everything is said and done.
So what are we even talking about with this grain? Well, think about a simple piece of wood. It has a grain, right? A direction. If you carve with that grain, everything is smooth, it's easy. But if you try to go against it, the wood splinters, it fights back, it resists. Well, guess what? Every single situation, every team, every market, they all have a grain just like that. It's the hidden structure, it's the direction things are already moving. And this is how that mindset really shifts. The old way, analysis. It always starts with the question, what should I do? See how that puts all the pressure on you to come up with the brilliant answer? But the new way, reading the grain, it starts somewhere completely different. It asks, how is this situation already organized? It's a huge shift from trying to force your will onto something, to first understanding the dynamics that are already there.
In this way of thinking, it leads to this really profound change in how we think about meaning itself. We stop trying to extract meaning after something happens, the whole lessons learned meeting. Instead, we start to enact meaning as it's all unfolding. Meaning isn't something you find later, it's something you do, in the moment. It's kind of like the difference between being a critic who analyzes a dance performance after it's over, versus being the dancer who's actually feeling the music and creating the dance as they go.
So this is basically the whole journey, right here. The old way, you've got this huge, slow gap, this lag time between something happening and you actually understanding it. The whole point of reading the grain is to close that gap, to shrink it down until your perception and your action are one and the same, just a single, continuous flow.
Okay, so this is all great in theory, but let's get practical. To read the grain of something that's happening live, you actually have to be in contact with it. You have to be engaged. So, how do you do that? How do you hold a situation without, either crushing it with too much control or just letting it slip through your fingers?
Well, the answer is this idea called optimal grip. And it's pretty intuitive, right? If your grip is too tight, you're over-controlling. You're trying to force an outcome, and you end up crushing the very grain you're trying to read. On the other hand, if your grip is too loose, you're just not committed. The whole thing drifts away and you get zero feedback. Optimal grip is that sweet spot, that perfect balance where you can actually feel the consequences of your actions in real time and let that feeling guide your very next move, instantly.
Okay, now we're going to build on that, because this next part is where it gets really interesting. We're about to take something that pretty much all of us try to avoid, pressure, and we're going to flip it on its head. We're going to reframe it as maybe our most valuable source of information.
I mean, we all know this feeling, don't we? When the pressure is on, we feel squeezed, constrained, just drained.
We start making reactive decisions instead of strategic ones. We're taught to see pressure as the enemy, as a cost, something that just sucks away our energy and our ability to think straight.
But what if we saw it like this? Pressure is green made forceful. Just let that sink in for a second. It's not just random chaos being thrown at you. Pressure has direction. It has a structure. It is the grain of the situation, making itself known in a really powerful, really undeniable way.
This is the absolute key insight. A system under pressure reveals its true nature. All the hidden tensions, the weak points, the lines of force, they all suddenly become visible. So you see, pressure isn't the enemy. It's a high-fidelity signal. It is the exact information you need to navigate, and it's being delivered to you in this incredibly clear, intense way.
So far, we've been talking about this almost like it's a solo skill, something for an individual to master. But the real transformation, the absolute game changer, that happens when an entire team learns to see the world this way. That's how you go from just having a room full of smart people to having a genuine collective capability.
And for a team to be able to do this, to read the grain together, you need 3 key things. First, you need shared perception. Everyone has to be calibrated to see the same things, the same details. Second, you need trust. Trust is like the load-bearing infrastructure that lets the team hold that optimal grip without falling apart. And third, you need a kind of accountability that's about preserving feedback, not about punishing people for mistakes.
And this quote just sums it all up beautifully. A truly capable team, it's not just a bunch of smart individuals. It's a system that's been designed to let people see and respond to the consequences of their actions in real time. The magic isn't in the people alone. It's in the architecture that connects them, that connects their perception.
So this brings us all the way back to the ultimate goal. Everything we've talked about today, reading the grain, finding that optimal grip, building a collective capability, it is all designed to do one single thing: close that gap between perception and action, all the way down to zero. It's about learning to operate in a continuous present, where what you do is always in sync with reality.
And that leaves us with a final and, I think, pretty challenging thought. In this new way of thinking, success isn't really about what you know, all the facts stored in your head. It's defined by the quality, by the precision of your perception. So the question isn't, what do you know anymore? The real question is this: at what resolution do you read?